Thanks, Jen, and hello, everyone. So I hope the sound is clear and I hope the screen is being shared. And I'd like to start this by thanking View School, which is my company, for arranging such a great event. It's been really awesome, and I gained a lot of knowledge in just, I don't know, a day and a half. So that's really awesome. Anyway, allow me to start by introducing myself. I'm Mustafa. I am living in Egypt. I'm 29 years old. Actually, I'm 30 in my latest days as in being in the 20s. So my birthday on the 15th of June this month. So yeah, I guess I'm going to cry myself a river after this talk. But anyway, I'm a full-time instructor at View School, currently working on the master class, which is the course that Daniel Kelly mentioned earlier. It is a comprehensive course about Vue. We're building a real world application from scratch to production. So all that cool stuff in between, we're going through that. If I got time by the end of this talk, I'll talk more about this. I highly doubt I'll have any time anyway. Anyway, so when I'm not teaching, I am a full stack developer out there in the wild, working primarily with Vue, Nuxt, and also Laravel for the back end, and whatever tool that gets the job done. So yeah, I'm all in for everything. So our talk today, or our topic today, sorry, our topic today is Vue and Nuxt Essentials, SEO Essentials. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. This is not dedicated for Vue and Nuxt. So if you're about to run away because that's not your thing, just hold on, because all the concepts and everything that we're going to discuss related to SEO is basically related to SEO. It's not specific to us, to a framework. So yeah, don't worry about it. If you're not using Vue and Nuxt, I'm just going to use them to provide code example when needed. Otherwise, all the concepts can be implemented regardless of which technology that you're using. And a little heads up, when I was preparing this talk, I had two choices, whether I choose like 2 or 3 topics to focus on and to be like more specific and focused on these topics, to give more details about them when it comes to SEO, or I try to open your mind to research and, gain more knowledge as much as possible or as many as possible during the talk. So I chose that second option. So I will try to do my best during the time that I have to provide as many information as I can about SEO, technical SEO, especially for front-end developers, things that will change how you code, things that will change your perspective and will make your code different than other developers who doesn't take SEO seriously. So yeah, let's get started to avoid wasting more time. So what is SEO? Well, the typical answer you will get when you ask this question is that SEO stands for search engine optimization. And that's true. But what is a search engine? Well, here is a non-typical answer, which is search engines are one of your site's users. This is how I like to think about it. A search engine aims to access your site to check your content, same as any other user. But the difference here is that search engines aiming to improve your site presence on the internet. That's their main goal. Do you want to access your site, check your content, just for the sake of making your site more visible on the internet? So when someone mentions SEO optimizations, they are possibly referring to what actions are you taking to help those search engines to show your site to more users, right? So it leads us to a very simple equation. Happy search engines, high traffic, right? So how do search engines visit a website? Don't expect google.com to be an actual human who is visiting your site and navigating your site. Although it would be scary if Google was an actual human, considering all the weird stuff that we search about. Yeah, they don't send google.com. They send ambassadors like bots or crawlers who are programmed just to visit the site and explore the content. So what do we know about those crawlers? We know that crawlers follow specific algorithm to determine the crawl frequency and the crawl speed. So to clarify more on the crawl frequency is that how often this crawler is going to check your content. Like let's say the crawler is checking your homepage. How often it's going to crawl your homepage? This depends on how often do you update your homepage. And the algorithm that the crawler is programmed to follow basically will check your homepage like every week and then every month, and then to measure on average basis, how often do you update the homepage, and so on. So according to this, it will crawl your page. Okay, and about the crawling speed, don't expect bots or crawlers to rush in your server, just sending thousands of requests per minute and exploding everything up. This is not true. And they are programmed in a clever way so that they, understand your server, only the good crawlers. So I'm not talking about bad bots, I'm talking about search engine bots. They are programs to test your server and know if it's capable to handle this amount of requests, and then it will crawl with the speed that matches your server. Cool. And what other fact that we know? Crawlers visit your site and renders the page similarly to how a real user would. And there is a misconception here for some people who are trying to manipulate crawler experience. So they show the user content and they show the crawler different content. And by that, they are violating the rules. And like famous search engines like Google, which is the most important search engine out there, penalize for that. And let me tell you that recovering from a Google algorithmic penalty is a pain. It's tough to beat. So try to avoid this, because this is not a best practice. This is a workaround when you show the user something and show the crawler something else. So make sure that you just treat the crawler as you are treating a user, because that's what they are trying to invest in the crawlers for. They are trying to invest in the crawler to make the crawler see the page just like the user sees it. So how does a crawler visit your site, or how does they navigate the site? So taking a look at this weird bot hanging in this headline, it's trying to send a fetch request to viewschool.io. Right, so what happens is that they send the request to the server, and the server responds with the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all the assets needed to load the page. If we zoom in on the HTML, we either find the HTML contains the actual content, the full content rendered on the server in case your application server-side rendered, or in other cases, it will find it empty, but it's referencing the JavaScript files needed to render the page in case of view single-page application running on the client side. So it will just see the script referencing the link or referencing the JavaScript file to trigger view and trigger all the other components and so on. So yeah, both cases will work. And yes, SEO is possible with client-side apps, but you need to watch out here. Because SEO, when it's client-side, it's not as quick or as efficient when it's done on the server side. And why? I included a screenshot here from Google documentation that makes it clear that your page will be queued to be rendered when Google has available resources to render it. And this depends really on the availability of resources. And something from my experience, it's not included in the docs here. It depends on the reputation of your website. So if you're just starting out and no one knows your site yet, well, Google is going to queue you a lot, because it's going to give priority to pages or to sites that have higher reputation, or they know for a fact that they provide a better value, and so on. So if you're just getting started, 100% I would go for server-side rendering, like any Vite plugin that supports server-side rendering with Vue, or Nuxt, because it has server-side rendering by default. So yeah, that's a way to think about it when it comes to server-side rendering and client-side rendering. Anyway, after they receive the files, they are trying to visually render the page just like as a user would, and then they use their creepy eyes to scan and index the content. Awesome. So what is our goal here? Like, okay, that's the journey for crawlers, good for them. What should we do? Well, we need to ensure that they're happy. And not just happy, actually, they are crazy happy. And the reason why is that we rely on them to get organic traffic. We rely on them to rank our sites and get traffic from Google, people who are actually interested in the content that we have. So do all crawlers able to crawl any site? Well, basically, yes. All crawlers by default are able to crawl your site. But there are three main things that you need to make sure of to make sure that you're not blocking them from crawling the site. And the first one is you need to make sure that you're not blocking bots. And by blocking bots, I mean page is publicly accessible, because any page that is protected by some sort of authentication level it will not be indexed. Google or whatever search engine is not going to see the content inside it, and it's not going to index it. It has to be publicly accessible. And the other reason is that you might be plugging bots is that you need to make sure that you don't have blocking meta tags, headers, and robots.txt, right? So I included here examples. This is an HTML meta tag that has no index value, and this is a header, a response, a header that you can attach to the response. And this is the robots.txt file. All these things, if they exist, crawlers won't be able to crawl your site. Cool. So what other reason is that page is working and returning 200 response? Yeah, nothing to talk about here. Just make sure that your page is not returning any errors and it's returning the actual content. And the final thing is that your content is indexable. And indexable here means that it's not spammy, so it doesn't go or fall under the spamming regulations or policy that the search engine has, and also that it is an indexable file type. And this is like a big list of files, file types like HTML, JPEG, XML, MP4, and a lot. I included the link over here at the bottom of the page. So yeah, I'll provide you with the slides with all the resources and everything. So we can do more to enhance the chance of crawlers visiting our site and exploring more in the site. And yeah, we can help them discover the pages by optimizing our links. And what do I mean by optimizing links? Well, you need first to understand that search engines rely very heavy on the anchor tags that you have in your HTML file. So it scans your file, check all the anchor tags that leads to internal linking. Maybe you're linking to the profile page, maybe you're linking to the blog page, and so on. So they crawl all of these from the anchor tags that you have in the page. So the more anchor tags and internal links that you have, the more chance it will crawl those pages. Not guaranteed that it will index it. This depends on a lot of factors, but they will crawl it. So what you need to do is that you need to avoid linking important pages with JavaScript and click event listeners. And what I mean here is that sometimes in the home page, maybe you have a featured article that you're linking to, and there is a read more button. If you click on this read more, it triggers a click event that makes a manual JavaScript navigation to this page. This is not the best practice for someone who cares about SEO much. Okay, so it's not a big deal if SEO is not #1 priority, but it is a big deal if you care much about crawling frequency. So basically, just make sure that it is an anchor tag that leads to the page. Cool. The second thing is that preferably all pagination links should be present in the DOM. So when you have pagination, like you're showing page 1 and then few dots and then page 10, and that's how your UI is. Well, preferably all the links to the pages should be present in the DOM. You can hide them, like you can show them fully, or you can hide them with CSS. Trying to go as fast as I can, like I said, so that you just gather all the concepts in time. Anyway, so if you're using Vue with Vue Router, you can use router link. And if you're using Nuxt, you can use Nuxt link. Both components, under the hood, they are just anchor tags. So they are safe to use when you are doing internal navigation. Cool. Another way that can help Google or whatever search engine explore your site is sitemaps. And sitemaps are a big page with many links and details about the page's content. I included here a screenshot from Fox News, and this shows that you have, like you can see here, they are wrapping with this URL special tag. There is a tag for location where there is the URL, and then when it was last modified, change frequency and priority. You can even specify the priority. You mean like it is from scale 0 to 1. So now they are saying that this is 0.5, so it's not so important. It's average, 50% important. And when they had like very big news, they should change this to 1. So search engines would know, okay, this piece of page should stand out and have more priority than the other. So you can do a lot with sitemaps. Feel free to explore them. And yeah, if you're using Nuxt, there is a module called sitemap. It can be easily integrated. Feel free also to explore that one. And yeah, we can even provide more details than just links and data about the the content, we can provide meta tags, which is, I think, the most popular form of SEO that everyone knows. So meta tags provide metadata about the web page. And if you're using Vue on Nuxt, Vue meta package enables easy management for meta tags in Vue and Nuxt applications. So check this one out. I also left the link over here, and you can grab it from npm or yarn through this method or command. And this is how basically it's being used right there. So if you're using Nuxt, it's integrated automatically. You don't have to do anything. And Nuxt provides also a set of helpful tools for defining and optimizing meta tags, and not only meta tags, everything related to SEO. Actually, Nuxt is super awesome for SEO from experience with working with big companies that care so much about SEO. So some of those SEO helper functions and composables that we get from Nuxt is use head composable, use SEO meta, define page meta composable, and there are also components like title, meta, link, head, and so on. Feel free to click the link here in this slide when you get the slides and explore more about that. Okay, so the next concept is one of my favorites, which is canonicalization. Excuse me, English is not my first language, so yeah, I'm not that good. So what does that mean? Well, a web page can have a URL, and the URL can have many variants. Like you see here on the left, there is viewschool/courses, and there is viewschool/courses, but there is a query string right there. And could not be query string. It can be a hash link, right? It can be anything. It can be trailing slash. It can be whatever. So all of these are variants that leads to the same content in the same page. So search engines see this as duplication. So the canonicalization process is to deduplicate these pages. So let me show you an example. Canonical links is your way, like I said, canonical links is your way to tell search engines which page has the primary content. So right here, we have a canonical link. It's added directly in the document's head, and the rel attribute is set to canonical. And here we define in all these pages and all the variants, we define the href attribute as this URL. So now Google knows whether you're using HTTP or HTTPS, which is your original content, whether you're using www. Or you're not, whether you have a trailing slash, query strings, whatever. So all these pages now are not duplicates. All these pages now tells Google that this is the URL that you need to focus on. This is the original content. So yeah, that's it for canonicalization. It's pretty straightforward. And then we have structured data markup. Complicated, but incredibly useful. Okay, so structured data helps Google better understand your page's content and how it is structured, right? So it doesn't only provide data about the content itself. No, it allows you to provide data about the content, who wrote the content, is the content related to another content in another page, is the other pages on your site or is it on different site? Just really, it's kind of limitless, many properties to fill, and all of it providing the search engine with more information about the content and what is it related to. So it's a simple script tag of a type JSON LD. I included a link here if you'd like to know more about JSON LD, but you don't really, it's pretty simple. And here is a quick example. It follows something called schema.org schema and properties. And this is an example over here. I'm not sure if I can zoom in. I think I cannot, but anyway, if you can see here, this is just, JSON, and it has properties of context, and this property basically is set to schema.org, and it has a type of receipt. Okay, so this is receipt for party, coffee, cake, how to do that, and the author who made this piece, who wrote this piece, when it was published, what is the description, and even it has a property for the prep time, how long it's going to take the user to actually do this at home. So yeah, so many details, so many things that you can do, and the more details you provide the search engine, the more relevant it will be for the user who is trying to search for something, and the better chance it's going to rank your site. Awesome. So if you're using Nuxt, there is a module called Nuxt JSON LD. It is very reliable, and I count on it on many sites that I use or that I am working on. And yeah, you can grab it with this command, and you can just add it to the modules array in your Nuxt config file. Okay, so jumping from the details that you can provide, let's talk about the page experience, because this is one of the most popular factors for ranking. Okay, so what does page experience means? Well, it means many things, not only performance. It means whether your site is secured or not. So do you have HTTP, HTTPS? Is your page mobile friendly? Do you have interfering ads, like people struggle to find the actual content because of the ads are too much? Do you provide valuable content? Okay, and then core web virals. And core web virals are measuring things like loading speed. How long does it take the browser to load the largest content pane? And the largest content pane, consider it as the largest element that the user will see when they load the page, or the largest block of pixels that the user will see as soon as your page is fully loaded. How long does it take from requesting the page and seeing this big element? And then it's also testing interactivity. How long does it take your site to respond to the user when they click on something? And then visual stability. How long does your site take for the visual image, or for the visual page that the user sees is stable and not moving? Nothing is jumping around, like Kent explained in his talk yesterday. So this is cumulative layout shifts, right? So if you notice something, you notice that Cool Web Vitals is trying to measure how fast does it take the browser to show the final and the stable version of the main content for the user. Okay, it's all about speed, and that's what it is all about, really, when it comes to Core Web Vitals. Speed, how long this takes and how long that takes. And this will differentiate your site from other sites. So let's say that your site provides super helpful and valuable content, and another site provides same quality of content. What's going to differentiate you is these things. Okay, so the first thing that you would do is to reduce JavaScript bundle size to optimize the page loading speed. And you can do that with Vue by using the define async component to split chunks from the main or the final bundle. And like you see here, this is just a component. This is a big list component, and it's showing only when this show is true. And it means that we don't need it on the initial page load because this show is now false by default. So what we do is that we use the define async component to dynamically import. We're using Vue dynamic imports here to dynamically import this from the server so that it is requested only when you need this component. Trying to go fast because of running out of time. And in Nuxt, you can do and achieve the same thing by just prefixing lazy before the component name. Cool. What else we can do is to reduce CSS, unused CSS. Unused CSS contributes in the overall size of the CSS files. And yeah, for Nuxt, it's using CSS Nano by default. It's awesome. And it's using it in the build step to minimize CSS. And yeah, also you can enable something called Nuxt Purge CSS module to remove unused CSS. Feel free to explore that as well. Okay, now we are jumping to something also really important, which is optimizing images. So images have a huge impact on page loading speed. So this is a big part of optimizing your page because nowadays all pages have images, probably. So if we take a look here, this is an example from Nuxt image, which is something that Nuxt have, a component, a special component that Nuxt have, and it is optimizing images. So I'm going to tell you things about Nuxt, but if you're not using Nuxt, this is the end result that we're trying to achieve. So don't worry if you're not using Nuxt. So we're defining the SRC, nothing to optimize here. The alt attribute, everyone knows about it. We need to provide that. And then we have the sizes attribute. This for Nuxt image has different syntax, but for vanilla HTML, yeah, the sizes attribute exists, but it doesn't look like this. And what you're aiming for is to have something like this. You're defining, for example, the max width for the screen to be 768 pixels. Then I want to display the image of having 400 pixels width. And if it's larger than this, then just do 1280 pixels. So yeah, this is the end result that we're trying to achieve, to have this responsive and to display different image in different sizes according to the screen size, so that people with mobile devices are able to see the page in a lower resolution, so it loads faster and so on. Sorry, not lower resolution, lower size. And yeah, we're specifying the width and the height. This is important to also prevent cumulative layout shifts. And the provider here is IPX, which is something else. It's a package from Unplugin. Yeah, feel free to check on JS, sorry, on JS. Feel free to check it out. It's pretty cool, and it is doing all of that magic. So we provide all of these settings here like this, and it gives us all of that magic. So also, it's recommended to use modern image format, and this is WebP, for example, and also you can use AVIF. So those are modern image formats, and they are really good with compressing, and they have small file size. And all images below the fold should be lazily loaded, which is very important for you to know that any image that the user shouldn't see when they first load the page should be lazily loaded. And this is a placeholder just to make things look elegant and to prevent cumulative layout shifts. When we provide this to the Nuxt image component, it lazy loads the images and adds a placeholder until the image loads. So yeah, loading lazy also is a native attribute. Don't think that it's also only related to Nuxt image. So above the fold images should be eagerly loaded and preferably preloaded. So any page, any image that the user should see when, like, as soon as they land on the page, should be eagerly loaded. And I added this here just to show you that it should be eagerly loaded, but this is the default value for our images, right? So even images below the fold by default are eagerly loaded. And what we're doing is that we add loading attribute and making it lazily load since it's below the fold. But for all images above the fold, you don't even have to add this attribute because it's eager by default. And preloaded just to give the browser a hint that you should load these ones like earlier than other assets on the page because the user should see them first. And yeah, we have so much we can do. And yeah, all of that, I tried my best to implement it in the plan for the Vue.js Masterclass 2024 edition. So yes, I will discuss SEO, and I will have a dedicated section for SEO later in the course in the Masterclass course. But that's it for my talk today. And I'll make sure that the slides are available on Twitter. So just save the handle right there, because I will share the slides there and you can have all the links to the resources I mentioned. And I hope that I refreshed your mind about special aspects for SEO. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. We do have a few questions. First off, I really liked on your slide how you put like the Twitter icon and the X icon, because it felt very, it just made me happy. I was like, I love that.
Yeah.
But that is not what we're here to talk about. It is questions. How does JavaScript SEO compare to traditional SSR SEO in terms of impact on search engine rankings and indexing?
Well, on the ranking itself, it doesn't really directly impact, okay? Because after all, like I said, most search engines now are able to execute JavaScript, right? So it depends now on how long does it take the search engine to actually index the content or crawl the pages or explore the sites. So it goes back to basically you're just going to see a delay, like a big delay. If you are competing with other sites that server-side rendered and your site is just starting up, it's not like having a big reputation for Google that you provide good content and you're getting high traffic and people are interested in your content. Basically, it's going to just delay your site a little bit until they have resources that they can avail to small sizes. So small sites. So yeah, basically in the ranking algorithm itself, no, it should be fine, but in the speed of indexing the site and, you know, it's not going to give you the upper hand.
Okay, good to know. And let's see. Is having a sitemap essential for every website's SEO?
Well, no. The short answer is no. It's not necessary at all. It's only necessary for big sites with many pages. So sitemaps is important because it helps search engines to explore your site, right? So you're providing a map for the search engine to crawl everything without relying on a specific page that they already indexed. Like I said, they scan the page for all anchor tags and index all the internal links, or sorry, crawl all the internal links. So sitemap just saves the time for doing that, and it provides the search engine with a bulk of internal links that they can crawl and explore. But it can speed things up, but it's not 100% necessary.
Thank you. Couple more questions of the schema markup looks complicated. Is there a way to validate its syntax?
Yeah, well, Google provides a way, and also schema.org, which is the schema that we're following when we are writing down our JSON LD code, is providing a validation. I don't recall the name of the sites now, but if you type in Google validate schema or validate JSON LD, you will find it. The first result on the top, the Google page that you will find will provide you with both that can help you validate the schema.
Thank you. All right. Last question, possibly the most important question. What is a Vue.js Jedi?
That's from you, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Basically, it's just that I'm really excited all the time about Vue stuff, and I just love Vue, and I love doing like challenging things with Vue. I like to do Jedi stuff with Vue. So that's basically what it comes from. Not much details here.
Okay, we had a couple more come back in of were SSR apps ever benchmarked against SPA for SEO performance? What are the results?
Well, I haven't really noticed benchmarks, like official ones or something. All I noticed are bit of talk here and bit of talk there. But yeah, from what I could gather of information from Google officials, speakers, and so on, is that they always claim that they are capable of rendering JavaScript sites, like fully client sites or single page applications. And at the same time, they are keeping stressing on how important server-side rendered is. So in my opinion, the best technique to deal with that challenge and that conflict in the web nowadays is to use something like Nuxt. Nuxt does hydration. So it loads all the content on the server, and whatever needs to be dynamic, they just do it dynamically on the client side. So you get the content on the server, and that's good for SEO. And then whatever you want dynamic, it's going to be hydrated on the client side. So this is a perfect approach. Whatever Nuxt or other frameworks are doing it, yeah, you should go for this, because this is, I don't know, it's just balancing things off.
Great, thank you. All right. Have you used Chrome Lighthouse to assess SEO optimization? Is there another tool you would recommend?
Yes, 100%. Well, Lighthouse can be tricky because it relies too much on your machine or the machine that is being used to test the site. It is being developed all the time. Bugs are being fixed. Changes are being made. And yeah, the score is not 100% accurate. What I would recommend is real user experience. There are reports out there that is providing real user feedback. Like I think I can recall Debug Bear. It's a website that can do this. So Debug Bear is one of the things that you should do. And another one, I think it's called Speed Insights. It's Google's. Let me tell you, it's called, Page Speed Insights. That's pagespeed.web.dev. That's the thing that you should rely on, because it takes the average of users that Google spotted entering your site and takes the average experience that they have for the page loading speed and SEO optimization, all of that feedback, and then provide you with that if your page that you're looking for has this amount of traffic. So yeah, that's two things that, and also Cloudflare has this real user feedback that you can set up on your site. So it's very helpful. So yeah, there are many tools, but I think Debug Bear and Web Dev Speed Insights is good.
Okay, thank you. How to compete with big brands hijacking keywords with top 10 product type. Generic articles posted across multiple domains.
Right. So competing with big brands is mostly difficult because of their reputation that they already earned with search engines. Like right now, all the information that we receive is that search engine doesn't take clicks for ranking, for example, right? So other like gossips came out lately that clicks in the site and contributes in higher ranking in the page. So there are things that we don't yet know, and it contributes to the site ranking. So you might provide better and more valuable content than the big brands that you're just trying to use the same keywords that they are using, but at the same time, they have higher reputation. So you would need to play a different game there. You would need to have a very technical strategy that doesn't only involve web developers, it involves SEO experts. And SEO experts here, this is their place and this is their game. They're going to help you to like hijack the easier keywords and then go to more difficult ones. And then you will have repetition and then you compete with more. So a big strategy by an SEO expert is much better than just doing the technical stuff as a developer for your site. So yeah, I cannot provide you a roadmap to hijack those keywords, but definitely a strategy that needs an expert to implement and go step by step with you.
Thank you. And I believe this is our last question. What are common mistakes made in development that go against good SEO practices?
Oh my, there are so many. So yeah, I know I took much more time than I should. Sorry about that, Jen. But yeah, the things that basically is a big mistake, like I said in the slides, is that you link important pages with JavaScript and click event listeners. Shouldn't do that if it's too important and your site really cares for SEO and the crowd frequency. You should link it with normal anchor tags. And also the cumulative layout shifts and the image optimization. Some people just, every developer can add an image to HTML. Anyone, like my 1 year old and six months can add an image to HTML file, I think. But the difference is that do you know how to do it right without impacting performance, without causing cumulative layout shifts, without providing bad experience to people using mobile devices or people who have bad internet activity. So yeah, optimizing images, making sure, and optimizing images has everything that I just mentioned, making sure that you are linking with anchor tags. I think I covered most of the things that I see like bad practices in the slides. So I highly recommend that check out my Twitter, and I think I will try my best to get Frontend Nation Twitter account to repost it so that you can easily access the slides.
I know I will be reposting it. I need to go follow you and I'll be reposting it too. So
Appreciate
thank
it.
you once again for joining us. And your Twitter handle is linked or mentioned right there. I think that's the direction. I don't know. Sometimes it shows up on different people's
Yeah,
screens differently, but awesome. Thank you so much.
sure. Thank you, John.